This is Robert Clotworthy, the narrator of The Curse of Oak Island, and I have a question for you. Could it be that you are listening to The Curse of Oak Island and Beyond live stream?
This is a top pocket find, mate, for sure.
All right. Hey, everybody. How you doing tonight? Welcome to the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond live stream. I am your host, Jeff Freeman. And tonight we have, look at all the people we've got in here tonight. We've got Jack Campbell. Jack, welcome.
Here.
John Edwards joining us again. And we also have Dale Carney coming to us. He's going to give us an update just a little bit on the charity for the, well, I'm at a complete loss for a second. Christmas Day. So we'll be doing that here in just a second. But I wanted to say welcome to all the people that are showing up here. Pam Block is with us tonight. Susan. Hi, Susan. Susan Osterson is here. Karen. Let's see. Who else we got showing up? Barbara Duncan. Let's see. We got Kate over on the YouTube side. Carol Walker. Paula Steen. Hi, Paul. Thank you for coming by tonight. Robots here. Thanks, folks, for coming in and joining us tonight. We are going to be talking about season 9, episode number 2. Which I thought was pretty good. What'd you guys think? Did you guys enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. I thought they moved around and found a lot of interesting things.
Yep.
Of course, it's Oak Island, and there's as many questions as there are answers too. So.
Yeah. I think in our folks up in Canada, like Dale here, got a little disappointment out. What happened on Monday there, Dale?
Sunday,
Sunday, I should say.
Sunday night. Tuned in to watch Oak Island, had my tea all ready to go. Turned it on. Canadian Pickers was on. So if they didn't show it, I guess they had a big apology and they showed it the next day. But I found a link that I can go on and watch the American version of it on Mondays instead. So I'm up to 2 now. It's really good this season.
I think so too. I am really excited about what's happening this season for sure. It's I think I don't know. And you just that thing, and we'll get to this as we go along here in just a little bit. But I think one of the things I really noticed about this season was the fact that everybody seems to be really energized. If you look at their faces and listen to the way they're talking, I mean, they're all like, really pumped up. And so I've got a feeling we're going to see some. Well, we already have seen some pretty interesting stuff. Hey, Court Lindahl's out there. Hey, Court, how you doing? Let's see who else is we got.
Shared every time sincere this evening.
Yep. And we got over on the Twitch side, we got J.A. Marnock is here. Hey, how you doing? Kathleen Nurse. I'm sorry. Kathleen Nurse is here. I can't read tonight, apparently. Elisa's here. Wow, we got a great crowd. Thank you guys for coming by here tonight. And hey, the phone is on, and I will put the phone. I'll get the phone number up here. And as I do that, I wanted to say also that the music that we had, I didn't get the little pop-up on that, but the music that we have for the intro is provided by bensound.com. I want to make sure I mention that because that's courtesy of them. And also we have our Patreon channel. If you guys would like to help support the show, you can do that out at Patreon. It's at patreon.com/jfree906. That's my channel out there. And if you want to help support the show, it does cost money to do all this. We do have several patrons, and I thank you all very, very much for what you contribute to the show, because like I said, this does have a cost, and that helps to cover that cost for us going in. So what we'd like to do first, before we get started with last night's episode, is Dale's going to give us an update on what's happening with the Christmas Daddies and the fundraiser they're doing with Maritime Tartan Company. Go ahead, Dale. What you got?
So right now, once you take the GoFundMe fees out, we're at about $16,500. Wow. So this is 100% of it is all going to help the kids at Christmas. So that's basically about 165 kids are going to have a full Christmas presents, dinner, everything. So that's 165 kids helped so far. We got 4 days left until midnight, the 14th, I think it is. Wow. That we're going to take donations and enter you in to win. The hats have been updated from what I've been told with some more signatures. The last one I was told was Billy signed it, and they won't tell me anybody else. So what's going to happen is tomorrow I'm going to Oak Island for a visit.
Okay. Tell us about that. What's going to be happening over there?
So what I'm going to do is we're going to go down tomorrow. We're going to bring our big fake check and write the amount of $16,500 on it. If any more is added, they're going to mention it when they air it at the telethon. They're going to because they're going to record us flipping the check with the 16,500. Any more that's added, they're going to mention it at the end of the once it goes back in the telethon. They're going to say there's actually some added funds to this, so it could go higher. We don't know. I'm going to be picking the hats up tomorrow and getting a better picture of all the signatures on them. So I'll send them to you guys, and you can post them. And there's a lot more signatures from what I've been told.
That's great. Yeah, because we know that we heard about quite a few people that were signing the hat, and of course all the major people out there too.
Yeah.
But we wanted to make sure that you know, as many people that could that are available or were available when the hat showed up could get that signed. So that's really great. And as we've talked about before, those hats are going to be, I think,
a collector's item.
Yeah, already. I mean, don't matter if they find the treasure or not; they're going to already be a collector's item for sure.
Because there's only 2, and they normally don't do this. So, I mean, to get the entire cast to sign 2 hats it's something we never ever thought would happen. They had to get special permission to do it and everything like that.
Right.
So they're going to be worth something once this is all over and they find the treasure and everything like that. These are going to be worth, well, pretty much a treasure.
Yeah, I think so. And I'd love to be the guy that wins one of those hats. Now, we are going to be giving those hats away. We've got, I think we're doing 3 drawings. This is on Monday the 15th, coming up here. Monday the 15th. We haven't picked a time yet. When did you want to do like a 7 o'clock gig or?
Whenever you want to do it, you can
do 7 o'clock,
we'll
7 o'clock Eastern time, which will be 8 o'clock for our Canadian friends over there in Nova Scotia. We'll do it at 7 o'clock Eastern. We'll come on here live, and we're going to do a drawing for, now we have 3 things we're drawing.
What we're going to draw for we did have 2 shawls, but we're only going to do 1 because we didn't get many ballots in for it. So we're going to do 1 shawl. All right. We're going to do a draw for a wool, Nova Scotia wool. It's a cape. Anyway, it's about $130 value.
A stole.
The final draw we're going to do is for the hat. Right now, if you look at the website, it says $16,000 or $17,000 in there, and every time somebody donates $5 is a chance to win. There's actually only 1,800 ballots in there.
1,800. That's still a lot.
Your odds are not bad because depending, like some people have donated 200, some people have donated 500. So it just depends on how many ballots you got in. Your odds. So you have a good chance, and they're all going to be just thrown into a gigantic tote, and we're going to randomly draw it with our eyes closed and just pick a name, and whoever that name is, it gets it.
All right.
There's nothing to do with the computer or anything like that because people say you're going to put numbers on them and put them on. No, we're just going to do a random closed eye draw of a piece of paper, and because they're all in the tote and your name is written on every single piece of paper. All
right, cool. Yeah. And we hope that we certainly hope now out of those 3 things, got the stole and the I'm sorry,
the stole, the cape, and the hat.
Yeah, and the hat. I would take any of them, quite honestly. The hat, of course, I want that hat. But I tell you what, we really hope that one of our members of our group here, or one of the subscribers to our YouTube channel here, we hope that one of you guys win.
Really, we may throw something else in because I might stop at the Mug and Anchor tomorrow. And pick up a couple little things there and add them in, and just for little bonus draws, but with all the ballots.
Wow, look at that. We may have some more things to give away. This might go on for a while.
Yeah, because it's right on the way, and I'll be there, so I might just pop in and pick up a couple of mugs or some t-shirts or something. I don't know. I might pick something up.
All right. Well, you heard that right here, folks. So we really hope that's it goes well, or it will go well. We're going to do some drawings, and like I said, we really this is a great cause, folks. And as Dale has already mentioned, it's all volunteer, and it's helping out kids at Christmas time and their families to give them some sort of a Christmas. The ones that are less fortunate and do not have a Christmas or may not otherwise have a Christmas. The telethon is on December 4th. It's running for about 6 or 7 hours. All volunteer. The station, everybody. There's nobody's taking any money out of this. It's all going 100%.
Nobody gets paid for it. And the second hat that we have 1 hat that we're giving away here. The other hat's going up on the show for auction, so it goes to the highest bidder. So if you you can actually call in from anywhere, and if you bid, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000, whatever the highest bid is at the end of it, you get the hat, and they ship it to you.
Wow!
So, and what I'll do is once the telethon happens, I'll post it on your page so you guys can watch it if you want. There's a lot of entertainment, music, and stuff like that.
Sounds great. Yeah, I'm going to be watching. I do have a little bit of a commitment for part of the day, but I'm going to be watching a telethon for sure. So
yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. So how much time do we have? 4 days left?
You have until midnight on the 14th to get a donation in. So every $5 is one chance. You want to bid more, by all means. We'll put you in for all the draws anyway.
Midnight to 14th, and that is Sunday night. Now that's midnight. I would imagine that's midnight your time.
It's midnight our time, so that's Atlantic Standard Time.
Yeah, so 1 hour later than us. So so right now it's 7:42. That'd be 8:42. So they're an hour later than us. So all right. So you got till midnight the 14th if you want to get another chance at getting one of those to get the hat, the stole, or the cape, or maybe some merch from over the
mug and anchor.
I think we're going to drop in tomorrow, maybe pick up a couple things, but I think it'd be kind of fun to add some stuff in there. So
that'd be awesome.
We'll just throw those in with all the regular tickets, and we'll just draw until we run out of prizes.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, we're gonna have a good time. That's gonna be at 7 o'clock on Monday the 15th, folks. Eastern time, 7 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to be doing the drawings right here, and Dale's going to try to get some pictures when they do the check flip over there on the cursor, or on on the Oak Island tomorrow, and he's going to post those up. And if he does get some pictures, he'll post those up for us.
Yeah, and I'll post the pictures of the hats, and I'll post the pictures of the other stuff I get. If we can stop at the Mug and Anchor, I'll post some of those pictures too.
Cool, sounds great.
Yeah, we'll get a bunch of stuff up there tomorrow.
All right, sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Dale. Appreciate you giving us that update. And again, folks, you can find any of this stuff if you want to. We have it posted in our Facebook group page if you want to take a look where you can donate. And it's also, is there a website? A main website?
It's just something you can go to the Christmas Daddies website. It's listed on there too. It's christmasdaddies.org. Okay. And you'll see the picture of the hats. You can just click on that and it'll take you to our GoFundMe page. All right,
christmasdaddies.org, folks, if you want to go out. If you're on the YouTube or the Twitch side and you'd like to make another $5 donation to get another chance at a hat or anything like that, you can go there and see all the details about that. Yeah, and how about
we're really hoping to get to 18,000 by within 4 days, but we'll take whatever we can get. And this is great what we got so far.
Yeah. And we appreciate everybody who has donated up to this point. Really, thank you a lot for that. All right. Thanks for the update, Dale. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
If you want to hang out for a little bit, you're welcome to do that. Sure. We're going to get on and talk about Oak Island for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go with now. And like I said, I got the phone numbers up. You guys can call in and if you want to talk about the season premiere, obviously that happened last week or the show tonight that was on last night, or I guess coming up for those in Canada, hopefully on Sunday. If it works out, you guys get to watch it on Sunday night, hopefully.
We're not in doubt. We have nothing to do with that.
Yeah, we didn't know. We didn't call it. We didn't pull the plug, and I feel sorry for the guy who messed that up, or if it was one person. Or wonder if
and the worst thing was 11 o'clock at night until 1 o'clock in the morning, and then everybody kept saying, "I'm just going to PVR it," but it was the same thing every time.
Oh no, yeah,
yeah.
My goodness. All right, so episode number 2, which was called the Gold Medal, and as you folks know, I love my pictures, so we are going to start off with the first picture, of course, of Oak Island. And I love this one. This one's kind of I don't know if that's a morning shot or a night shot or dusk or dawn, I should say. But I really enjoyed this picture. That's a great one there, looking at Smith's Cove and Isaac's Point vantage. All right. So, and we start off with Steve, Terry, and Charles all working over there in the Money Pit area. And they're drilling. They're getting ready to drill, or they're actually drilling D2, is that what it was? Borehole D2.
D2 is correct. Yep.
Which is supposed to be 8 feet away from C1. I'll pop that up so you can see. They didn't. Yeah. So you there's C1 and D2. All right. Well, I see this. Anyway, it's about 8 feet away, and it's off to the south. I guess that'd be the southwest of C1. Now, remember, C1 was the important one because it was the one that they found a lot of stuff in there. They also found that piece of the shiny gold object that was in the wall.
Yep.
They sent the diver down, and the diver found some stuff in the wall. Yeah, and then when he was digging it out, the camera saw it in the wall, and then when the diver went down, he was trying to dig it out. Of course, it floated down. So that was a little disappointing, but to everyone. So they got working on that, and there's the guys from Choice Drilling out there getting the rig going. And how many? It's a 400 and some. I think Steve was telling us there's like 400 and some boreholes have been drilled.
I know he said 300 plus last week. I know.
Yeah.
I thought I heard 400 too.
I think 400 is correct.
Yeah.
400 plus.
So that's
plus.
a ton of holes that they have drilled. And I thought those were, I thought they were small. They're actually some of them are 6-inch casing they're putting down, I guess. But anyway, that's a lot of drilling. So those guys spend their entire summer there, I guess. So what they were doing is they got, what do they call this again, John? This area that
the C1 cluster.
The C1 cluster.
I believe that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yep. The C1 cluster. So when they narrow down and I think they're going to do water samples out of these clusters as well. So out of these boreholes, they're going to take water samples and see if they come up with, they found some gold in the water sample that they had tested on last week's show, which was really cool. That means a lot. They are going to take and put a 10-foot can down, and that's what this picture here was showing, a 10-foot can going down. They're going to be working on that. Once they narrow down where they want a good spot for one, and I guess they were talking about doing more than one throughout the course of the season.
4 of them, I think they were calling for to do.
Yep, I think you're right, Jack. I think they did talk about doing 4.
I think F4 was one of their main spots right now as of last week, anyhow.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny too, because, we had Colin Jameson was on with us, and he was taking some pictures, or quite a few pictures for us as they were going around. And it looked like it was the same one, the same can. We'll have to watch as the season goes along, whether or not they end up putting down more than one, but it just seemed like one from what I saw. I just brought the chat back up. Anthony Castle's here with us. He said, there's a reason. I'm not trying to read some of this. C. Fulton is with us too. Houston, Texas. Dave, how you doing?
Colin Jameson's here in the house tonight.
Oh, is Colin with us too? Oh, there he is.
Tom Burns also.
Tom Burns just entered.
Tom Burns. All right. Thanks,
Right.
guys. I appreciate you coming by tonight for sure. And Ann's here too. Hi, Ann. Anchor Tours. Jeff's here. Denise. Wow, we got a lot of people showing up. Thanks for coming by. So yeah, when they do this C1 cluster, once they've nailed down all these different holes around there and they take some samples, they're going to pick a particular group of them or one area, and then sink a 10-inch can down, or a 10-inch. I said that again, didn't I? A 10-foot can in there, and hopefully we'll see some good results with that. And as they were doing this, now this one was out of CD6, I believe it was. The group finds some wood planking. This is the same type of material they found in CD6 last week, and this was in D2, and they found some more wood in there. Let's see. And of course, they got this dated. I believe this is the wood that got dated that we'll find out later at the end of the episode. Some dates on that. Let's see. And they also, here was the big ta-da-da-da right here. They were, and every one of these that come out, they run over it with a pinpoint metal detector.
Yes.
And they look for anomalies. Now that's why you see Stephen picking up the bag right there, because there are nails in that table, and it will give them a false reading, of course. So once they got a hit, they picked up the bag and had them go over it again. And sure enough, they definitely got a hit there. So they had to dig through it and find out what it was. And they come up with this piece of metal. Now, what'd you find interesting about this piece of metal, guys? Besides, before they analyzed it with XRF.
But there was supposedly cement, a thin layer of cement attached to it. Was there not? I mean, is that
there was little concrete on it?
Little concrete, which is commiserate of the description of the chapel vault. Isn't it?
Chapel vault, indeed. Yeah.
So that was interesting that you suddenly have something that is in the right area and is commiserate of the description of the chapel vault with that thin piece of metal and the concrete, and it gets you to think. Why? What's the significance of that piece?
Exactly. And that's something that was very interesting about that, was not only was it had the concrete, but it also had that thin piece of metal. Now, I wasn't aware. I found out later, but that the chapel vault, which I think I have a picture right there. Now, that was the artist's rendition of the chapel vault, of course, of the wooden box encased in concrete. But they said on the show that it also was concrete and then a layer of metal, right?
Yes.
I didn't actually realize that, or I must have not caught that little reference on that until they mentioned it again last night, that it had that metal and then the concrete over top of it, which I thought was really interesting. And then here you've got this piece of metal with concrete on it.
I actually think they hit a piece of that vault. I think that's
so?
what that's from. I think they hit a piece of that, and that's what that's from.
Yep. You know, that
it's too much of a coincidence.
And I think there's a little tidbit I think you're exactly right. I really do, Dale. And the thing of that is, I hate having the phone. I have to have the phone number up and it's in front of your face. And I hate that. I'm like, I wish I could rearrange it so that I wouldn't. But anyway, I think you're right. And as we go along in the show tonight, I'm going to point out something that Linda and Jan, I also wanted to thank them for all the hard work they're doing out in the chat tonight. Linda's out there working, and Jan doing their
synopsis are great.
Keeping all you rowdy people in order out there. But they pointed out something. They said, really take a look at what was said in the vehicle when Rick picked up Marty, and they were bringing him back over to the island, over to the war room. They were talking about some stuff, and something he showed him in there. We'll talk about that when we get to it, but it's interesting, and it goes along with what Dale just said, that I think they, like he said, I think they hit the chapel vault or
what's left of it.
The question I have is, did they get all the way? They didn't get all the way through, I don't think.
I don't think so. Yeah, we would think they would have, but I don't know.
Because that picture you showed before showed a pretty good layer of concrete and everything.
Yep.
And there was gold on this.
Oh, great point.
Yeah.
So,
yes,
I mean,
it
kind of makes you think that they actually did hit it, or a piece of it that they took out before is lying around and they got it from that.
Right.
But,
well, when they punctured the original chapel vault, wasn't there gold links or something?
Yeah, they fit the drill bit.
They pulled up the parchment paper too.
So what I'm thinking is when they put it in and they pulled that drill bit out, they may have taken a couple of pieces of metal, scattered it about, and then this is a piece of the debris from it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I think so. I think you might be right. I really do. And again, that's exactly what they have been attempting to do, was to find the chapel vault in the money pit. And so if they have found it, I'd be getting that 10-inch case on, or 10. I did it again. 10-foot case on in the ground.
I think this is a piece from the original vault, and I think it's a piece from a debris from it from when they first pierced it. It's just
anybody know what the dimensions were on the chapel vault? I don't.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't.
I can quickly look. I'll look.
10 feet.
Because I was just wondering if that big of a case on, if they hit it, they could, work around it.
Yep. I was thinking 7 foot deep, but I don't know if that's
10 feet wide. I thought, but
yeah, you're right. Yep. Let's see. So I was just going back and looking at some of the chat here, and I also see that Tom. Let's see.
Up top. Oh, after the OTV show, I was telling you, it was almost a
Yep. Let's see. He said something. They skimmed it. That's what Kate said. They skimmed it, or nicked it. Yeah. Anthony says they nicked it. But Tom said this right here. He said Chapel Vault had gold on the drill bit. That's what they were claiming, that they had gold on the drill bit. So if that's so they're thinking they actually hit the money pit chamber or vault.
Chapel did.
That Chapel did, yeah.
I just hope they didn't move it. I hope they didn't move it again. Oh.
Yeah, he did. I think they did say cement and not concrete. I think you're right. Who was it that said that? Ann said that. Didn't Charles say cement, not concrete? I think so. I think you're correct on that, Ann. And I keep saying concrete, but they are. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, Anthony said he thought it was 10 foot wide. I'm not sure. I know Chapel Vault, yeah. So pretty interesting that they found this piece of metal there, and then we can speculate about this, but I got a little tidbit to bring up later on, because I think it is pretty important to note what was said in the vehicle on the way back. So let's see, Kat Fulton, did they date the concrete using a mineral detector thingy? I don't know. I don't think they did. And I don't know that that XRF is not going to be able to date it, but they should be able to get some date or at least get analysis of it. I think that Krista Brousseau can do that, and that's what Craig was mentioned. Krista, to send that over to Krista because she's the one that analyzed the concrete substance or the cement. I'm sorry, I'm going to make sure I say cement. The cement substance that was on that nail. There was a nail they found in the mound on lot 15. And that was they took that over, and she's the one that checked that out. So, yep. Oh, the Jersey lady's here with us, and I also saw who else I saw.
Deidre's here tonight. Good evening, Deidre.
Deidre, all right.
Deidre.
Yeah, there she is. Hi, Deidre. Who else? I saw another. Jenny's getting inky with us here with us too. I love that name. I don't know. It's an awesome name. I just love that. Jenny's getting inky with it. So more to come on this piece of metal. You can guarantee we will see more about that coming up as they go along. All right. So now we jump over to the southeast corner of the swamp. And as you know, this is where they came across the section of the road that they found last year that I think Terry DeVoe said was about 500 years old. And rather than going north and northwest towards the Nolan's Peninsula and the swamp, the eye of the swamp toward that direction, now they're looking at it going to the east and heading towards the money pit. And that's what they were following right here. And Terry said it was about 500 years old. He estimated that. And Terry obviously is a very knowledgeable person on that. So he would have a great estimate of that. Let's see. This is the same area where last week they found the ancient cargo barrels, and even possibly a piece of the ship, or wood, a piece of ship. So they get digging along, and as they do with Billy's trowel here, they scrape along the top of this wood right here, and they notice that right off the bat, and they're like, okay, hold up. What do we got going on over here? And they found some lumber down there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, right off the bat, they're thinking, okay, this doesn't look to be that old. And you can see, hey, Sandella Ray's here. How you doing? That doesn't look to be that old. This particular wood. Let's see. Craig explains that there are 3 top boards and looks like some possible cribbing. And he got talking about the restalls. Yeah, what do you did a little looking into that, didn't you, Jack or John? One of you guys were talking about that earlier.
Well, I know that the Restalls at one point had built a platform, and it supposedly was a wooden hidden box underneath in the south portion of the swamp down to the right, and they were looking for it. And I think there was some graphic of one of the Restalls taking a very long pole and trying to stab down to see if they could find anything.
I think we have a picture of that too.
Might be a portion of the Restall platform that was built. I think was the thinking. Is that right, everyone? I believe that's correct.
I believe you're right.
Yes.
I think you're right. Yeah, they showed that on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think I've got a picture. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Dale.
No, I was just saying it made sense what he was saying.
So there's a picture of this is Mr. Adams and his family. Let's see. And it talks in here. It says Jack Adams during the 1930s was probing the southeast corner of the swamp and found a large wooden box buried below the water and the mud. Years later, Mr. Adams told the Restall family of his find. Lee Lamb had shared Bobby Restall's journals with Rick, and in the journals there was a document of the attempt to find the box that Jack Adams had told them about. So there's a picture of Jack and his family, and then here's a picture of the Restalls, their family as they were out there working. And there's that picture. I think that's the one. That's Bobby, I believe.
That's Bobby.
Yeah.
Yep, he's doing the probing there. So that platform obviously not. That's pretty well constructed, but that's not showing that wood that we saw in that other picture. But then again, we don't know if they added on to it. What they had done to get a little further into it, but we're thinking that was the wood that they found was actually that. Now, and I was wondering about this, because you guys have heard me talking many times about this wood anomaly in the southeast corner of the swamp, right there by that pine tree, and they had not really gotten into really looking into it. But it looked like this was in that same general area, but moved over just a little bit. So it's all part of, I don't know, is it all part of the same thing? The other wood was much older than this wood.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's see.
And Jeff, real quick, I have an answer for the chapel vault. I
Yes,
just
please.
researched it. Okay. Season 6, episode 3. The Oak Island team describes the chapel vault. There's no width on it because they really haven't found the edges of it, but it was a 7-foot high tall box discovered by William Chappell and Frederick Blair, 1897.
Yeah.
So 7 feet high. I guess that was the drill bit going down.
Right.
The void. But they know exactly. They were thinking it was 10 feet wide, but there's no exact width on the chapel vault.
That makes it hard to put a can down.
Yep, it makes it hard to put a can down.
Yeah. And that 1 year, I think it wasn't C1, I think it was H8. It was one of the caissons that they put down. They thought they actually hit the edge of it.
Yes.
Pushed it
and pushed it
down.
And pushed the timber down.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
You'd almost need to do the real big dig if you found out that's what it was. Where you go like what, 100 feet wide, 200 feet down to
Yep.
X marks the spot and in the middle and go down.
Yep. And I'm hoping we see that big dig. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but man, I sure hope so. The little girl, Adam's picture, Peggy, the little girl that saw the I don't know.
What's that?
Was that the girl? Remember we talked about her, John, when we did the paranormal stories about Oak Island and
the
stuff.
IDK, yeah.
Yeah, on the IDK. Was that that was the Peggy?
That was Peggy.
Oh, nice catch, robot.
Okay, loops around.
Wow, that's very interesting. I had not caught that. That's really cool.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. And I'm gonna go back to that picture for a second. Right there.
Wow.
She's the one that saw the soldiers, the British soldiers, the guys wearing the red uniforms. Marching. Oh man, Peggy.
That's a great
Adams.
See, that's why I love our viewers and our Facebook group people because and the YouTubers because you guys remember this stuff, man. Yeah, nice catch, robot. That was awesome. Let's see here.
That's a great pull. That's a great pull. Wow.
Yep. All right. So as they continue on, they're looking over here and they found all these boulders and rocks in the ground right there. And they look like they're heading off in towards the money pit area. And there's another look at some of them as they're cleaning them off. This looks just like the stone road that headed off to the northwest, going towards Nolan's Peninsula and all that, and the eye of the swamp. And then this is looks like it's definitely heading off the other direction, going towards the money pit area. So, and they're wondering, I think, if it was going to cross lot 15 as well. And heading because it's wood, it would cross lot 15 and lot 16 on the way there. Then here's another. This is another picture. You can see the stones, definitely heading that way. And that other anomaly, they found the wood, but the other one I found was way over here by the pine tree. Oh, somebody's got some sirens going by. So anyway, so that's a good shot there. Look, and then they found this piece of wood. Jack and I we were all talking about this before in the pre-show tonight. Before we got started, we were talking about this piece of wood. This thing is another interesting.
I had a couple thoughts on that one, Jeff.
Go ahead.
One, I was completely surprised that nobody had a clue what it was. I mean, everybody, even Laird was to the point of looking at it and says, I don't know. The other thing that got me is that I don't know where Liz and the new archaeologists who we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
You would have thought they would have called them over just to get a look
if they're even
see
there
what it was.
Yeah.
Maybe they know.
Right.
The one person that I thought maybe if it came from a ship would be Tony Sampson because he's driven on so many old wrecks before and everything.
That's true.
Maybe he's seen something.
That's a good point. He might. Yeah.
I mean, I know they have to carbon date it and, try to get a year and do everything like that. But if they carbon date that, I want to go back to last week where they found that one part that they said that they tied off to a mast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a
And it's stuck in a. Now we were
Belaying
both talking. My initial thought was, well, maybe that's what they stuck that into, but I don't know if it goes all the way through.
yeah.
I know Marion put her hands. I don't know if her hands went all the way through that hole or not. It
Yeah.
was just a thought that I had.
Yep. Yeah.
And the one thing I really want this carbon dated and the other one carbon dated because I want to see if the dates match up.
Yep. I do too.
Because we are getting more and more proof. You would think that there was a ship or something in that swamp that went down,
Exactly.
maybe, or something.
That's what I was just going to say, Jack. I think so. We've talked about this over the course of all of last season about the pieces of wood they keep finding in the swamp area. I'm going to get this phone number out of the way for a minute. I like looking up and being able to see Dale. He's all hidden behind the phone number. I'll put the phone number back up in a minute. But we talked about this last season, and again also in this season too, about the fact that that we know that pieces of their shipwrecks all over out there. Collins talked about it. Many people have talked about it on the show. Tony Sampson's talked about it on the show, and the fact that a piece of these pieces of wood could easily float across from a shipwreck and end up being stuck in the muck of the swamp and then get buried over the years and find it. But how many pieces have they found?
But there's a lot of them floating over, apparently.
That's a lot of pieces that they found. The keg pieces, the barrels, and the pieces, that pin that they found last year. We were calling that a belaying pin, right?
Belaying pin. Correct.
I thought of Tony right off the bat. I thought maybe he would have an idea because he dove so much in the area.
Yep.
I think they have to find somebody now. They didn't sound like they had anybody that they could go to right away. It looked like they had to find somebody to go to. There wasn't like a Carmen Lay. They could just walk it in and get it, and get an idea already.
Yep. Yeah, that's what Tom mentioned what I was thinking too, and Linda did also. That to me is a track for. That's what I see. I see a piece of wood that's like, okay, imagine like a stool that's got legs on it, right? And one leg has got a pin that sticks out, a wooden dowel that sticks out like a pin.
Right.
And that pin would ride in this groove and you would open it up or whatever. I'm just using a chair legs as an example, the X pattern, and it would open up and it would slide along, that pin would slide along this groove and lock into place when it gets to the hole. I don't know if that's what this is.
I just want to see if the dates match up on matching up on things.
Definitely.
That is critical.
But again, we're finding so many, as Dale said, we're finding so many pieces of wood, and the belaying pin and the piece of railing they found last year. Yeah. I mean, is there really a ship in the swamp? I don't know.
Well, you know where I come from, so I mean.
Or was the swamp in that area, that whole area, used for ship repair?
Again,
right. Because you found different pieces of different types of ships. It's not all the same type of ship. So it could very easily, you have a pine tar kiln sitting there. Mm-hmm. You have other things sitting there that would be used for ship repair.
Yep. Yeah, that's very true.
And the reason I say that is because we found two different belaying pins, which mean two different types of ships.
Yes. Yeah. There was the iron one and the wooden one. Right. Yep. I guess somebody's saying something that our Facebook group page is something's wrong with it. I don't. A couple of people have commented that they can't get on. Jan said it for some reason. She can't get on, and here's Stylewise TV is saying the same thing. Yeah. So I don't know.
I watched it. A carpenter would recognize that particular cut in the wood. Maybe that could be possible.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Piece of a deck chair. That's what Jan said. It looks like. The back side piece of a folding deck chair could be. That's what I was saying. Let's see. You have to refresh. Okay, Linda was just telling me you have to refresh. If you're not being able to get onto the Facebook page, you could just refresh. It should work. Let's see. Has it been proven the swamp area was used for fixing ships? It hasn't been proven. But it's very likely, I think, right? Why is everybody so surprised at finding broken wood? They would expect to find pieces. Yes, you're exactly right, Matthew. That's a very good point. If it truly was a shipbuilding or repair area, and hence the pine tar kiln, if that's truly what it was, even though there's some, Aaron Taylor talked about the fact they didn't find residue. So that's still up in the air whether or not it was a pine tar kiln. But you're right. I mean, if it was a ship repair area, like John was just talking about, and you mentioned here, Matt, that for sure, you would find bits and pieces of ship around there.
As Rick says, the swamp has answers, and I want them.
Yep.
And we did a lot of ship repairs back in the day here in Nova Scotia along that coast too. We had a lot of ships.
Here's some names popping up. Hey, Matthew, by the way, Matthew, thank you for coming out. I hadn't seen Matthew Bedford. Appreciate you coming out to the show tonight. And we also have Thorvald. Okay, Von Johnson. Okay, what do we got here? Can you explain the difference between the Turo Company and Chapel Vaults? One seems to be at 135 feet and the other at 90. Metal from Tuesday came from 90. Do either of you guys remember about that? I know that the Chapel Vault was the deeper one, was it not?
That was, yes.
Now, I don't know if the Turo Company, if they found a vault. I don't think they found a vault. Let's see what we find on that. Linda may have an answer to that too. Linda's like a walking encyclopedia about Oak Island as well.
About everything.
Yeah, she's kept very detailed notes for all 8.5 seasons, 8.2 seasons. Let's see. The depth of the wood in the sediment would give at least a sense of the deposit in time.
It's 1897 when the Chapel Vault was found.
Right.
Yes, correct.
Yes. Thank you. Yep. But you're right. I don't know about that. We're going to have to look into that. Because I didn't think that the Turo Company actually found any kind of a vault. I think that they were working on trying to put in a side shaft down in through there.
So, Jeff, where did they find the metal piece with gold on it this past week? How far down?
90. I think that,
90.
well,
It
yeah.
was 88 to 90 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
right around
Okay.
88 feet. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Which leads you to believe at that depth, if they say the Chapel Vault was deeper.
Chapel Vault, I thought was much deeper.
Yeah, I believe the Chapel Vault was like 130-ish,
5,
like that.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 135, right around there. Let's see. Yes, that was the tunnel where the two chests in. 91.5 feet. Let's see. That's what, Dave Petrella said the same thing. They're all talking about the two chests that were stacked. Anthony, that was a flicker. I hope I'm not losing power here. Chapel Vault 153. Somebody just popped up. That was Dave Petrella.
Okay.
That. Yeah, thank you, Dave. Let's see. 2 or 3 chests found stacked on top of one another. Are you talking about the ones that they found that supposedly were found when they were going down through, digging down to the 90-foot stone? Is that what you're talking about?
Sounds like that's the one that Joe McGinnis made reference, the alleged chest, the 3 chests that were pulled out from the money pit area.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Gilbert Hedden put in the side shaft. Thank you, Linda. The Hedden shaft, right? Chapel found the only vault that they've ever talked about. Yep.
And then the other thing I'll throw out there, there's always been said there's more than one treasure on this island.
Yeah, I think so. Or was more than one, whether or not they're still there. Because we speculated about that, if, this whole thing was Samuel Ball and the 3, Vaughn, McGinnis, and Smith, and then Ball's name was on as one of the original finders of the money pit.
Correct.
And then all of a sudden his name is off of there and Smith's was added,
Right. And you got Captain Anderson on top of it to make sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the pirates, I was talking about that with one of my coworkers today that watches the show, and he was talking about the fact that, so many pirates in the area, Anderson being one of them, privateers or whatever. So, and I know that Dale, you probably know about a lot of history of pirates in the area as well, right?
Yeah. There's quite a few.
Yep. So, I mean,
And then
treasure chest hidden. Sure.
Yeah, and Quartz mentioned before Peter Easton, the pirate. So he was also in the area as well.
Okay, Tom put a novel in here. Let's see if I can read this
wow.
If I put it up on I don't know if it'll go up on the screen. It's going to cover it. Okay. In the second hole, they struck the platform, which the previous Onslow company had found 98 feet with the crowbar. The drilling auger went through this upper platform, which was made of 5 inches of spruce wood, and then a 12-inch gap, 4 inches of oak wood, 22 inches of loose metal, and 8 inches of oak wood. This was thought to be the bottom of 2 treasure chests or barrel containers, one stacked on top of
interesting.
Yeah, on between 2 platforms. Then the drill went through 22 inches of loose material or metal, or let's see, yeah. Wow. Interesting. So yeah. So, would have thought there was 2 chests. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. Matty Blake talked about stacked boxes that they were drilled into by the Turo Company in 1849. I think you're right, Torvald. I think they did. I think Matty did mention that, but I don't know if it was 2 boxes or 2, like Tom was saying, barrels or boxes or something like that. But thank you, Tom, for looking that up. That's great.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. He's one of our experts on our Facebook page for sure. Comes up with all this, knows all this stuff. Let's see. Who was this there? This is Kat Fulton said, just a thought, the chest that the fellow showed the boys along with the ring and the keys on it. Oh yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
That was wow.
Why and how could they find the key with the chest? Pirates don't leave a key. Or did the ancestor put things into the chest? Yeah, they went to that guy's house.
Alex was there at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember they went over and they looked at that that treasure chest or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
And their eyes got as big as silver dollars when they brought it out.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Truro spelled Truro, a town in Nova Scotia. Oh, I didn't know that. Indies
an hour from Halifax.
Oh, okay. Over by Halifax?
Yeah, it's about an hour away.
Okay. Oh, okay. Let's see. Anthony. Oh, they were talking about 2 different things. 3 chests reference about the original Money Pit boys supposedly found. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought he was talking about there. That was the ones that they found. Every second softwood tree in the Maritimes is likely a spruce. Yeah, probably so. Yep. All right. So we'll just have to see. I mean, that's I love it. Little tangent we got off on there for a minute, but you're right. I mean, that's all interesting stuff. But the chapel vault. I think Dale's right. I think they may have tapped into the chapel vault or skimmed it or something.
Or got some
the only
debris
question
from it.
I have, would it be a 10-foot can be enough to get down there and get it out?
Yeah, exactly. Or push it.
You know what I was wondering? If they did find it and they did tap into it with the 10-foot can, and they scooped it down, they took a big scoop of treasure up. Would they actually? I wonder if they would actually send somebody down in that can.
You'd have to.
I mean, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'd love to see something like that. But they do it underwater. But would they do it with somebody going down that? That'd be interesting.
Yeah, they would have to. I mean, they've sent people down in C1, but now we know that there's a chamber. There's an actual cavity down there in C1 because that they've shown that. They remember the pictures. There was like wrought iron leaning up against the walls down there and stuff. And, that was really
possible
cool.
body. It showed possibly at one time and everything else.
Yep.
I'd volunteer to go down.
I think
I'm not a professional diver, but I'll go too. What the heck?
It would just be, to me, it would be neat to actually bring it up and see what's in.
We'll put a bunch of GoPros on you and a couple ropes. And we'll lower it down.
Hold your breath.
Mic you up so you can talk.
Yeah, we'll find you an underwater mic of some sort where you can talk to us.
That'd be great.
And send us a pull. 1 pull means I didn't find anything, and 2 pulls, yeah, I got to
go. That'd be a fun podcast.
Oh my God,
that'd be great.
Yes, it would indeed. That would be a fun
Good
podcast.
stuff.
Oh my gosh, this is great. I love this. This is fun. I love talking to everybody and carrying on with all the thoughts everyone has. All of our members have. Let's see, our viewers.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The reason I want it brought up is see if with the paper they could save the papers. I saw on a show where at a fire that got waterlogged with a bunch of books, they were able to save some of them by going through a process.
Oh yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I don't know what that
they
process is.
possibly bring those up.
Yep.
I saw it on a History Channel show, American Pickers.
Well, Jack, I would hope that if there's anything like Shakespeare's Lost manuscript or anything of note, that whoever the depositor was would have put in liquid mercury, something
Yeah, but
where
it's
the
been
paper would.
punctured. That's the problem that I have.
Yeah.
With it.
It's disintegrated. Otherwise, we know it's booby trapped. The whole area is, has flood tunnels. But if it was
But it
in
would
liquid mercury,
at least give it a shot. To give it a shot, and maybe we could come up with something.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, you remember what Vanessa Lucido said? She didn't want to be the one that sent a caisson down there and cut the Ark of the Covenant in half.
No,
because I don't want to be the one to do that. Yeah, that'd be my fear, and that's always got to be the biggest fear of you. You want? I mean, how else can you get down there and find out? Before you do a big dig or anything like that, how else can you find out if you're in the right spot? Is by drilling these holes, running those, pulling up samples, getting a look at this, putting caissons down, doing all this work. How else can you get a good look at it before you do a big dig?
Well, they're talking about X-ray in the island from underneath up.
Yes, I did see that. That's going to be,
that's going to be really interesting.
On Maddie's drilling down show.
Yeah, that's got to happen. That does have to happen. But you think about these things like that. I mean, how else are they going to know? And in the process of doing this, the punching holes in there like Swiss cheese in the money pit area, how much have they damaged? You think about that. I mean, if they actually hit something, and yet the auger didn't, their drill rig or whatever this, they're pulling up these core samples, but they haven't found any coinage. They haven't found any silver, anything that really, except for this piece of metal that they just pulled up with gold on it. With gold. So, I mean, and in the process of doing so, like the guys did with the chapel vault, they came out with that tiny little piece of parchment with the letters VI written on it and stuff like that. You're gonna you have the potential of really damaging treasure, punching a hole through the Ark of the Covenant.
And the other thing I think you have to take into consideration are sinkholes, because Vanessa had to stop drilling a couple times. What are you going to do if it starts a sinkhole with that 10-foot going down?
Yep, I know.
See, the good thing is that the samples are bringing up, though, they're not bringing any treasure up, so it means they hopefully haven't hit anything yet. Right. I think once they hit one, I think if they drill down once and get a sample of a coin or something up, that's when they're going to really start.
Yeah,
in that one area. So hopefully there's not much damage to anything.
Right. Yeah, I hope so. I really do.
But if they pierce the chapel vault, then it's waterlogged probably.
It's full of water. Yeah, it's definitely going to be full of water if that happened. Hey, Judy Rudabush is here with us. Hi, Judy.
Hey, Judy.
Yeah, there's no room for fear. That's what she said. No room for fear. You got to go for it, right? Yeah, I know. You got to do it. You have to. I mean, there's no, other than maybe doing the radar or whatever, the scanning or whatever, you have to do this. There's really no other way to get this done. And in the process, you take the chance of, damaging something. It's going to be part of the process. If they get down there and they do the big dig and they dig all this out and they do find the vault, they open up the vault and they find out that all of Shakespeare's, or is it Bacon's, papers are completely destroyed, and the mercury leaked out on the ground because they punched a hole in it. I mean, there's a treasure lost, but you got it. You have to do it. You have to do it.
You can still try to do something with it. If you get you try. That's what you can do.
Yep.
Well, I think that was Dan Blankenship's whole thing was 10X was the final alternative way into the money pit area without destroying what's down there.
Yes.
And his thought, and I almost agree with him, and having spoke with Joe McGinnis quite a bit. She believes, and I believe maybe also, that there might be an alternative entrance to the Money Pit area, which is being explored from the swamp. Maybe there's tunnel. There might be something else there, another way
You
into
got to
that
open
area.
that hatch, Jeff.
Correct.
Yeah, the hatch, exactly.
The hatch
hatch
is sitting
is one
You
there.
got to
way.
open that hatch.
Or the
Possible
Mercy
tunnels
Point, pierce the Mercy.
Pierce the Mercy Point.
Yep.
Tunnels between the swamp and the Money Pit area. There may be, and I know in the McGinnis history it was handed down orally, verbally. Whether there's any truth to it, it could be family lore, but that's what she had heard from her father.
Right.
Well, the Templars were known for having more than one entrance, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. And they're the only, and you think about it, we've talked about this before, is that who would be capable, and again, you go into that same subject about, pirates were going to bury something. Would they go that deep? No. What other reason would somebody be down that deep underground tunneling? Okay, mining, if that's possible, but there's no record of people mining on Oak Island. But why else would they be down that deep doing tunnels down there? They know it's a fact that they found evidence that there was tunnels down there. And even Erin Helton, you think about Erin Helton when she was on the show last season, and she was talking about the other tunnels that head off towards the money or towards the eye of the swamp and different areas. They didn't find it, but I still think that's a plausible, like we just discussed, that's a plausible idea.
And Jeff, the other question one needs to ask is who or whom, what persons or organization is capable of making such a structure? I mean, that's many man hours.
Small list of people.
Some very small list of organizations, and that's a lot of manpower to even construct it. And it would take years, to do something like that. So that has to be taken into consideration.
Right.
And you can
would
count
have the knowledge even to do it.
You can count them on one hand, five, maybe, starting with the Templars, the Rosicrucians, the Masons in there,
offshoots of Masons. Yep.
Offshoots of Masons, Cistercians did a lot of digging like that. So, there's only a handful of organizations, maybe the British military and the engineers. There's only a handful of organizations that can make such tunnels like that. And
the thing I wonder about the British is might be too early for the British.
It may be, but then there's so many layers on Oak Island where, and Rick talked about this. Who is it? The Rosicrucians, the Masons, the Templars, which layer are you looking at? The British, the French? Every artifact that comes up, you have to ask yourself, where on the timeline does this fit?
Well, I'll give you another one, Portuguese.
The Portuguese.
Yep.
Because they're Templar. They were Templar.
They were Templar. They were post 1307, sure.
I was calling. There's Colin right there. Templars, baby.
Hey! Sounds like Gary.
Yeah.
I always wonder, how much this would have cost back then to do? Who would have funded this? There's a lot of money that this would have cost them back then.
Well, the Templars had the money.
Yeah, that's true. But
yeah, that's right. Kat Fulton just said, yeah, well, you were talking about this, Dale, weren't you? It was this. You were just talking about this British coin they found.
Yeah,
right.
It was in the news today. I read about it.
Yep.
And they found one just a bit late, a bit earlier. They found two coins in the same spot, and one was 500 years, or I can't remember the dates on them, but they found two coins. Really, they're the oldest coins ever found in Canada.
Wow. And they were British coins.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yep. Wow. And that, in talking about all the people that have been there, I don't think the British or the French would have dug these tunnels or whatever, but you never know. I mean, we know they were both on the island.
Right. I don't think
There's
the Vikings
evidence of
would
that.
have done it either.
The who? Say that again?
The Vikings.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think they would have bothered to dig something that deep like that.
No.
Probably not. Yep. Let's see. What was this here? Oh, Jan said, but they did mine on the island. Remember the story of the ship that came over loaded with what they thought was gold and to go back to their country, only to find out that it was fool's gold. So, and we did find a mining release on the map. They had a whole area, but again, we were speculating that mining lease was used so that they could actually search for the treasure, and that was what they did for a permit back then, was the mining lease. So,
although when we had Colin Jameson on, we talked about maybe there was a vein of gold that was discovered at one point in the Money Pit area. Right. Again, that's speculative, but we all looked at each other and said, "Whoa, it's a possibility."
Right, and it has to be considered a possibility simply because of the fact that, and here I go back to when they found that shiny gold thing in C1 and the wall, and then they sent the camera down later on at the beginning of season 8, and they looked at the anomalies in the wall. if you got a treasure, unless it's in the solution channel stuck in the muck that went through there or moving around in there and got stuck in the wall, okay, yeah, I could see that, like a coin being stuck in the side of the wall there. Okay, I could see that a possibility, but you also think about the fact of gold in the, a vein of gold in the wall.
Right.
Did they ever
John
go back
Burns
to
has
that?
an interesting comment. He says that Portuguese Templars order pre-1600 is possible. Templars are not going to leave results for the general public to find out.
Right. That's very true. What was that, Dale?
I remember last year they sent a diver down to look at the shiny gold thing. Didn't he have a coin or something that he dropped?
Yeah, he was digging there with his trowel.
And they never ever got back to that.
No, because it went down to the
bottom. I thought
bottom.
what they would do is do the water pressure thing where they push it down and everything comes up again. But they never. I thought they would go that way, but
water lift or what they call that. Yeah, that's
they
exactly
talked about it, but they never did it.
Butterfingers. Yeah, you're right, Tom. Yeah, we were everybody. I mean, and again, I mentioned this before, but when that happened, we were all on the edge of our seat going, no. What you doing?
I can imagine what the diver was thinking also. So,
but I'm surprised they never went back to it or even tried to attempt to get it up.
Right.
You never seen anything.
Yep.
They may have, but
yeah, no, I don't think they did. I didn't think they went back in it. I mean, they got to though. At some point, they've, unless they do the big 10-foot can, and then if they hit that same chamber down there, then and they got to send a diver. I would think, oh my goodness, get a diver in the ground. If the stone path leads to the money pit,
and Jeff, I know we were talking about last week. There was a specific, and I'm looking for it in my notes, a specific rock or a specific mineral that was found, which is commensurate of gold being in the area as well.
Yes.
And if someone may know in the audience, I just not recalling it.
But that was Spooner, Dr. Spooner talked.
Yes, correct.
And I had that written down. Andesite, and oh man,
that sounds.
Who remembers what that was, Doctor? And he talked about that would be a material that you would find in an area of a gold vein or something like that. And he did find some evidence of that. So you never know. All right. Well, let's move on here a little bit. I love this, and there's no problem with us getting down these little rabbit holes like this because we got. We're only an hour in, and but we got a couple points here. Let's see. Uplands Lot 15. That's where they're heading over now. That's Rick and Gary heading over to Lot 15 to take a look at some. Here's Lot 15, of course, and they're looking at this stone road down here and then cutting across 15, 16, 17 over to the money pit right here. So that's where they're following this road, thinking it's coming around this way, going over there. Now that is uphill. Now, maybe Dale could, I don't know. And Colin, of course, you can tell that the height of I know it's not a big deal. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? Jeff's here with us. The elevation of the money pit area is like 20 feet higher than the sea level. I think something like that from the beach level. I forget, something along those lines. But anyways, that's where they're looking for the stone road heading over that way. And they're doing some metal detecting over here now. Let's see. Now I grabbed this picture because, we talk about all the stuff, the blasting caps. Yes, Jenny, that's right. There.
That's what it is. Yes.
Right there. Sphalerite.
That is correct.
Thank you. Not right on the money. Jenny got it. All right. I wish I had a prize for you because
you're
exactly right. That's what it was. But we always talk about the stuff that Gary finds when he's metal detected. We never see anything about. We know that he must hit an awful lot of things that mean nothing. But now with the CCH going on, they have to tag stuff a little bit better. And so now he has to bag even this pull tab from a pop can that they found over there in Lot 15. So yeah, that's pretty interesting right there. So I grabbed that picture just simply because I wanted to show that, he does find stuff like that quite occasionally when they're looking, but he had to bag it and tag it. Now the CCH talks about, and we talked about that a little bit last week when we heard about it for the first time and how they're stepping in and they're really going to put the the clamps down on making sure that everything has to have a authorization, permit, or authorization via layered to be able to proceed when they find something. Everywhere except now the area used to be everything from the swamp to the east. They were free to go after it, but now it's just this little area right here is all the small area. They do not need to have a permit. Everything else does.
Jeff, I have a couple of thoughts on that.
Mhm.
Rick and Gary were talking when they were on lot 15, and one of the things that Rick was saying is he did not realize how much of this was going to slow things down. He seemed very, very frustrated with it. Like
Yeah.
they couldn't move.
Right. And we know the process of that does slow things down. Yeah.
And he was really worried about it. And I've never, like the week before, he didn't seem to think much of it. But boy, he changed his tune completely, it seemed like.
I think so.
And if he's upset a little bit about it, I can imagine Marty being a little bit upset about it. I was wondering how much this is going to slow him down. Is this going to be like a Tony Sampson thing almost where you can't touch anything? I know Tony, when they did their diving and everything.
Could be.
You know.
Yeah.
You just don't know. You know, how.
And again, go ahead. I was going to say, and again, you have to look at the thing of that was mentioned last week. What thing, and we will find out as the season goes on here, but speculate on that for a minute. What thing could they have found that is causing this, that caused this to happen? Now, we know at the beginning of the season, they're already talking about it at the beginning of the show this year. All right. They talked about it on the season premiere of this thing that caused this. So this thing that they found had to be from season 8, I would think, right?
Yeah.
One would speculate the discovery of the Stone Road and all the artifacts coming off the Stone Road. That would be enough for me.
Maybe. But I'm thinking, because I know Maddie had mentioned this. He goes, speculate on what they could have found. What do you think it was that they found that has, and he made it sound like that. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what
I was just thinking, how is this going to affect them going forward for the rest of the year? And I was kind of curious, but Tony and some of the tourist attractions, either the Bug and Anchor, Karen's Place, the Bug and Anchor, the Oak, they've gone through a real rough time with the pandemic. You know, they lost a lot of business, shall we say, tourism.
Yep.
And they were just starting to get it back, and this happened.
Right.
And I'd kind of like to know what their impression was of it, or have they heard anything? And maybe the last point I'm going to make on that is that there was a Canadian election 3 weeks ago, was it?
No.
I don't remember.
We had a provincial election in the summer.
Right. Well, they had a national election or something here a while back. And I read somewhere where maybe when the cans and everything started going up, maybe some of the rules had been relaxed because of a change in command or something like that.
No, actually, the new premier is quite supportive of these guys. He actually just did a post. He did a post a couple of days ago about them. So any rules that would have happened before he got elected with the previous government.
You know, I was just wondering. Rick was a little scared of it when he was talking to Gary.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I think you're right. I know that they're concerned about it for sure. They're trying to put a good smile on the whole thing or a good light on it, because it does validate them, and that's what Marty was saying. It validates what they're doing has merit now, and they believe it now. They're on board with it now. So that's what
I honestly think what's happening is the government's starting to see it now as a historical site.
Exactly.
And they're starting to get a little worried that it's being dug up and looked at and getting more publicity and stuff like that. People are starting to go to the island. So I think they're getting a little worried about that, and they want everything documented now.
Right.
Just like the two properties that were on there that they got, Samuel Ball's property and the other one. I think that's what they're trying to do to the whole island now, is that you can't touch very much unless you get permission.
Right. Yeah. And if you think about it, I go back to Alessandra Nadivari that she owns the property up there, what they're calling what has been called by some the New Ross Castle, and that she is not allowed to excavate that.
Yeah.
Not allowed. They will not permit it, and they will not give a permit, and they will not allow her to.
Yeah.
So why is that? Why is the government
very protective lately of all their historical sites?
Exactly, and that kind of plays into this, I think, a little bit here. What's going on here?
Yeah,
So
I think they've been noticed now, and it's they're starting to tighten up a bit.
Right. Yeah. All right. So let's jump back on this a little bit here. So what happened to somebody's asking what happened to the box drains? Haven't heard anything about those in a while. And that was the box drains. Yeah, we'll find out. There were some pictures that Colin shared with us where they were looking over in the Smith's Cove area. They were doing some drilling, and it looked like they dug a big hole over there. Are they giving up on the box drains? I don't think so, but I think they went as far as they wanted to in the last couple seasons, trying to find them and close them off so that the money pit area would stop flooding and they could pump it out. But I think that's not going to happen. I don't think they'll ever be able to stop the water from coming in there at this point. But we'll see. We'll see what they were looking for in Smith's Cove later in the season, and did that have anything to do with the box drains? We'll find out on that one for sure. Let's see. Wayne Pierce asked the question: where's the boulder that had the ring bolt in relation to the stone road? That boulder would or could be on the top of the hill anchor point for ox. Yeah, that one was actually right. Wasn't that right above, right in a lot 13 area? I thought it was right around in here where they found that, because they had walked up from the swamp when they were following the stone road that they had done, and they went up into this area just outside of Nolan's Peninsula where he was pushing the dirt down there. Because I remember Rick said something about, oh, this is where he was bulldozing out to the peninsula. So I would think that it was right up in here where that was where the boulder was that had the ring bolt that was cut off by Fred Nolan. I believe it was lot 13. And you're right, it was up more on top of the hill, which would make it an anchor point for something. Let's see. Why did they build the stone road over to the money pit when they could have followed the shoreline around and gone up? Seems they would have been faster and easier. Maybe, I don't know. I think the water's pretty shallow on the south shore down here, so they would have had to find it. I don't know. That's a good question. I think they found that this area here, and the road, if you remember from, was it Terry DeVoe had found, he was looking at, you could see the stones that looked like it was extending the stone road that they found right here in lot 15, extended out into the ocean quite a ways.
It's supposedly a pier, possible pier at the very end of that road,
right,
which would be unloading and loading, of course.
Right. Which is why they would be over there rather than, and that's flatter ground to be able to come in and unload, and then you'd have to build a road then. It had to be, for some reason, they couldn't go up right straight from the south shore.
It's a rather steep slope. I've walked it. And so it rises quickly. And if it's a lot of items and they're heavy items and you have oxen or whatever you're using, you want the least decline you have, because it's just going to be easier to haul. I mean, the slope is, Jeff, if the slope is like this when you start walking up on the money pit from the shore, I mean, it's up on the hill. You're rising 20 to 30 feet in a very short distance.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think
you're right.
Pragmatically, it would make sense to have a road from the swamp winding around.
I was just looking at it. Man, I've missed a lot. Man, there's a lot of chat.
There's a lot of comments going on.
Yeah. Well, Barbara said I would love to see a projected map for the shoreline 600 years ago, and that's true. And Dr. Spooner was talking about that, and he had a map that he was talking about. They talked about 1 foot lower in sea level for every 100 years. Like that. So you would definitely see a lot more shoreline, and a lot more island,
Yes.
At that point, for sure. And we don't know what the water levels were. That's why that stone road probably went out so far.
Sure. It wasn't underwater. It was the actual legit stone road all the way out, and 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 feet from the road itself. Yep.
Okay, so lot 15 is where Gary found another ox shoe. He was thinking this one was British because of the wider bottom on it. But another ox shoe would indicate that if they're, and I think they're going to find that the stone road definitely heads toward the money pit from lot 15. I'll back up on that. So right through here, right across lot 15, lot 16, lot 17, coming up the hill this way, which is more gradual than coming up this way. And then the road around this way also, they found that the road kind of comes around this way going somewhere. The one on the other side of Nolan's Peninsula turning and coming across. But remember, that's where Jack and and Gary were finding all those oxen shoes last year, right along this trek through here over towards the money pit. And again, they found another one. So you think, oh boy, more ox shoes. But yeah, it does tell a story for sure. And it's a British. Okay, so the guys continue on. And this is where they found that square nail. They definitely found another one of those, an old square nail. So that was pretty cool. So you don't have those big decking spikes or, those kind of square nails around. They were very old, and I don't know. Did he put a date on this thing? I don't think so. Let's see. The first flag that Gary believes was a square nail that he believes is old because of the weight of it. Gary tells Rick that when he and Peter metal detected the area, most of the signals were either on top or along the bottom of the lot. They decide to move toward the bottom of the lot, and that's where they head on. And Gary finds this little jewel right here.
Yeah, he thought it was an egg.
Yeah. When he first saw it, he was thinking it was an egg or something like that. And then you heard him, you could hear about it. And I love Gary's expressions when he's when his show's going, ooh, and he's like, ooh, what's this? But he reached down, he picked that up. And of course, then we were talking about this being some sort of was this another one of those grape shots or a shot? And remember, they were talking, they found one. Where did they find the one last year, John? Do you remember? Or Jack? They found one of these last year. It was in the wash table. They found it on the wash table. And I forget what it was
like huge.
Yeah. But they found another one. It was very similar to this one, very smooth, round rock that they found. And so they were speculating about it being of some sort of a cannon. And I think that John has something to show us here.
Sure.
I'm gonna go back to this picture here, and then I'm gonna bring you up, John. We were talking about this being a signal cannon or a rail. I think they called it a rail cannon or something like that. So
yes.
I'm gonna give you a solo layout here for a minute.
Sure.
Show us. Go ahead.
And Jeff, I actually own a signal cannon. Okay.
You have to see this.
It looks like this. Wow. And what it would do is it would sit on top of a railing on a boat. Okay, and it would have a cradle, and you would swivel it around. There is a place up here. You can see where the wick would go.
Yep. And
you would put basically gunpowder in it, and it would make. I've fired it a couple times. It makes a very, very loud explosion. And this is what the bore and that shot put that you just saw would fit into this.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
bore perfectly, and it would just create a very loud explosion when ships were going in and out of ports, or they were just signaling for danger or whatever. This is what a signal cannon actually looks like.
Wow.
Is that the scale? Is that like the actual size?
Yeah, this is it. This is the real deal.
Real. So that's real. And that he's got.
I picked it up. They were dating mid 1600s maybe.
Wow.
I picked it up in auction, Gettysburg. A lot of things come out of those attics in Gettysburg and the state sales. And when I saw it, I had to have it. So
that's incredible.
So yeah, this is pretty old. So yeah, and so I had a friend of my father's, up in the Gettysburg area, built the cradle for it. But this is what would sit on the railing of a ship, and you just turn it any direction that you want to signal. You fire it off. You put a lot of gunpowder in it. It's very loud. If you put the shot put in there, it would increase the explosion sound. Wow. Because you would have the gunpowder packed into it. So just wanted to share that, guys. That's what it looks like. That is an official signal
You've
cannon.
shot that thing before?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have some land in West
How
Virginia
far
that I
does
go
the shot
shooting.
go, John? Do you know?
What was that?
How far does the shot go? Did you ever figure?
I've only fired it with just the gunpowder. So I have not fired it with. But next time I'm up there, I will tell you. I'll go ahead and order the mullet balls and go ahead and fire it.
You know, if where they found it might be where we could figure out maybe where it was when it was shot. Or something.
Sure.
Like that.
So I just wanted to share that real quick.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, when I say it's loud, it echoes. it echoes in those hills in West Virginia.
You want to be wearing your earmuffs for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
We do a noon cannon here at Halifax every day at 12, and you can hear that all over the entire city. So picture how loud that is.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I collect antique firearms, so I doing a lot of black powder up there, and I have a makeshift gun range up in West Virginia in my land. So it's awesome. So cool. It's just you find things like these in Pennsylvania, and when I saw it, I just said I had to have it in my collection.
Yep.
So that's what one looks like, and that
this
ball
would
that
fit
you
right
showed,
in there.
It would be a perfect size for that. Yep.
Definitely, that's really cool. Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate it.
No
That's
problem.
what.
Question: do they put more than one in there, or can they put a couple of them in there, or is it just one at a time?
Just one at a time.
The big ones, I kind of think one at a time.
Now, there's something like a blunderbuss, which I've showed on another, and I own one of those. That's when you put multiple, nails or pellets or whatever, and you can fire that off. But no, that's one at a time. You probably build up too much combustion if you had 2 or 3, and it might explode. You limit it to one.
Yeah, and then you end up with the pieces that they found at
exactly. That was someone that put
those
2 or 3
pieces all over.
there.
You blow it all the heck. Oh my goodness! Yeah, we had kind of people jumped in here and said, "Man, you got some nice toys." And don't bring out the blunderbuss. We had that
last time I did that.
We did the paranormal show, and he brought out that blunderbuss. And I tell you what, some really strange things started happening on the paranormal show. And if you haven't seen that, you should go to YouTube, check out the paranormal show we did for Beyond Our World on Halloween. It was actually on Saturday night. Some really strange things happened when you brought that blunderbuss out, and that thing's possessed or something.
It is. It's creepy.
Yeah, definitely creepy. But very cool. So Kate, everybody's jumping in here about that's really neat that you have those things. But anyway, that's great to be able to share that and show that with everybody. And I'm going to show
that would fit perfectly in a signal cannon, and that's what they look like. Okay. Someone built a cradle for mine, but it fits into a cradle and it can swivel in any direction.
Okay.
And you put the kind of the musket ball or whatever ammunition you're going to put in there that would fit into that barrel, and a lot of black powder, and hopefully you would measure it out. There's a certain amount you would put in there, and you just fire it. Yep. And it's loud.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Even with the head, even with the head muffs on, it's loud.
Yep. Yeah, Jeff from Anchor Tour said the swivel gun is what they're commonly called. There are quite a number of them still in existence today. Typically, they have a bore size of 1 to 2 inches in diameter. Mm-hmm. Right. And here's a picture of one on the side of a ship right there. And you see them. You see them quite a bit. On a piratey movie or whatever, you see these things like that. But that's what they are.
And that's about an inch right there, Jeff. Give or take. So matches perfectly with the description.
That's really cool.
Artifacts or stuff that Gary found on that mound on the island, they thought it was a signal cannon like that also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jeff always said cannons use multiple shot quite often. Canister rounds and duplex type loads were quite common. Multiple ball rounds were commonly connected together with a chain. Yep. Yeah, those would be for taking down a mast. Yeah. Yeah. Had the chain that would whip like that, and then it would take out a mast of another ship. Close fire didn't go a long ways, but definitely do a lot of damage on the hull or mast or whatever sails of another ship, and all the rigging and all that kind of stuff for sure. So really cool. Yeah, so there you got to look at it. So that's what that little cannonball would do, and cause some cause a big bang. Yeah, for sure. I'd love to hear that. I'm gonna have to get together with you. We gotta fire that baby.
Oh, sure, anytime.
I'd love to hear that thing going off. I just love that kind of stuff. Really cool. There was some bridges. There was a bridge in Portland. I know I'm going on a wild goose or off on a tangent here. But there was a bridge in Portland, Oregon, where they would. Deidre probably knows about this if she's
That's what
still
I was
here.
wondering.
Where they get so many birds on them that they fire off the cannons every so often. They have to fire off the cannon, and it scares the birds away, and they don't nest. So every so often they fire off these little small cannons like this one here. They fire them off, and it just makes a loud boom, and it keeps the birds from nesting on the bridge.
Sure.
That's a pretty interesting way to do that, right?
Yeah. Well,
Cannons to keep the birds from nesting, but that's what they do, and that's what it was for. All right.
okay. Where are we?
Where are we? I know. I'm having a great time. This is so much
No,
fun.
this is great. I love it.
I'm having an awesome time with everybody and just all the chat. I just love all the interaction with everybody. This is exactly why we do this. Anne Marie says, have seen some ox shoes in blacksmith's cabin on Ross Farm in September. They are quite small, or very small. Yeah. You must record that. Great. Tom Grady said you must make sure you record that. What? I'm not sure what he was.
I think he's referring to the shooting of the
Oh,
cannon, the war cannon. I will absolutely post it. I will shoot it within the next couple months and post it probably in the next couple weeks.
All right, let's hear it.
Can you make a video of it going off?
Huh?
Can you make a video of it going off?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to take a video of me shooting it off.
All right, we're going to post that when he does. He's
Yeah,
going to fire off that cannon. We're going to get a post of that. Yeah, you're heading out somewhere to do some fun, aren't you? They're coming up here soon.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Deidre says, "Oh, I haven't heard about the bridge, but Dustin probably has. Yeah, it's out there. I'm pretty certain it's in the Portland area. It's one of the bridges there. They fire off those cannons. I remember that.
I'm just reading the comment from Anchor Tours. He's totally correct.
What's that? Oh, at Halifax.
1 pound black powder charge.
Wow.
You walk downtown at noon.
Wow.
Goodness.
You walk downtown at noontime, that cannon goes off, it goes through you. And I mean, if they put any more, I can see what that happening. That's loud. One in Halifax.
1 pound of black powder. That's
Could
loud.
you imagine a visitor to that town and that thing goes off at noon?
Every day it goes off at noon. It's just a tradition we have here, but they do it every day at noon. You can set your watch to it.
Wow.
I mean, if I was walking downtown and all of a sudden that went off, wow.
You see the tourists when they come here, they jump every time it goes off. It's like, what's happening?
Yeah,
You don't even notice it anymore.
What the heck was that? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that'd be great though. I think that's awesome that they do that.
There's video. I think there's a video online somewhere that shows the cannon going off for Halifax. Just look up Halifax Citadel cannon.
All right. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. Okay. Dave says the number of ox shoes found indicate the need to pull fallen trees needed for the tunnels. Yes, they would. Or the oxen needed to haul or excavate dirt and rock to fill up in the swamp. Yes, very possible, Dave.
Very possible.
Yep. Oh, it looks like Tom's putting you on the spot here, John. If you shoot that cannon live, Facebook IDK right there.
Yeah,
that's a possibility. If I can get a signal up there, I will do it live.
I can fire up. I'll fire up StreamYard. You can come in on your phone, and we'll do it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll do a live IDK, the firing of the signal or rail cannon.
Oh, Deidre says she tries to stay on her side of the Columbia River as much as possible. Honestly, I'm clueless of what Portland Bridge is. Yeah, about Portland. You know what? And also, I mean, the traffic trying to get back across that bridge. I've been in it because I used to work in downtown Portland, but I lived in Vancouver. And it was 14 miles, and it took me an hour and a half to get home. Wow. 14 miles. It took me an hour.
My daughter that lived out there had to say
because of the traffic. It was absolutely horrid trying to get across that bridge. Like 4 or 5 lanes down to 2. And it was a lot of people. Anyway, I digress. I'll keep moving on here. Okay, so we get over to the archaeology trailer. This new archaeology trailer that they have, which is really awesome. They didn't have before. And for some reason, I have 2 pictures of these guys standing there. I don't know why. I meant to delete one. So, boom, there's another one. So you got Dr. Spooner in this one with the guys. And they are over here to take a look at the metal that was found in the sample, in the core sample coming out of D2. and they checked it out. They zoomed in on it, got a look at it like that. Then they put it in the XRF scanner, and they pulled it up and got a look at that. There's that piece of metal. Now that they got it cleaned up as much as they can, you still see there is definitely some cement. I was going to say concrete. There is some cement still, but lo and behold, what did they find right there?
Gold.
0.068 of gold, and that's a percent. 0.068% of gold, folks. That's significant right there in itself. Now, what could that? You think about what could that thing? If that was a piece of metal that was surrounding or covering the chapel vault, and it had concrete on it, why would it have gold? That's what I was thinking. Why would that have? So it must not have been. It must have been. I don't know. What do you think?
May have leached into the metal or something.
Maybe, yeah.
The picture you had up there a second ago, Jeff, looks like rust on it, but
I know. Yeah,
it looks like rust.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless there's metal in the cement or not cement, gold in the cement or something.
That's a good point. I mean, the XRF picked up something.
Yeah,
definitely. It picked up that, and it was, and they did it. They ran it a couple of times. Remember, he even moved it and ran it again, and it still came up. Gold leaf on a container. Yeah, Tom said gold leaf from a container.
Wow.
Yep.
I agree with Dale. It had to leach in there somehow.
It's got to be leached in a little crevice or something.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree with that. Has to.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it had to, because if that thing was on the container, on the outside of the container, it's not going to have gold. So you're right; it had to have been picked up from something.
Something nearby too.
Yeah,
There's nothing far away. It's something right in that vicinity.
Yeah. Linda says the piece of metal was not cleaned when they ran the test. You're right. Yeah, it wasn't all this cleaned off like this when they ran that test, and we don't know for sure if this was the same piece of metal. And that's something I was going to bring up here in just a moment. Let's see. So that wood piece indicates something. The cannon, the size it fit into. I'm trying to, at least it said, so that wood piece indicate the indents would be something that the cannon that size would fit around to move. I don't know. Possibly. It's not certainly out of the realm of possibility. Let's see. Yes, Jan. Yes, that's what I was going to bring up here in just a few minutes. I'm going to bring that up right there. Yeah, I hope he didn't rub the gold off. I was going to talk about that in a minute. Yeah. So anyway, so let's jump over here. So there it is, 0.068%.
Yep.
And that wasn't the highest percentage of everything. There's iron and all this stuff in there as well. Definitely had that. So it wasn't a lot, but it was enough to say that, like Dale said, that they picked up a trace from somewhere on the metal itself. It was picked up by the XRF. Okay, now we get to this little tidbit right here, the drive. Rick just picked up Marty and Alex, and from their arrival from Traverse City, Marty asked Rick that he's dying to show him something, and he pulls it out of his pocket and he hands it over to Marty, and Marty's checking this out. And he was carrying it around in his pocket, and he was talking about the fact, they found gold on it when they analyzed it with the XRF scanner. He also tells them that he found it at 88.5 feet, which was the results that Craig wants to share in the war room. Now, something about this particular drive that was said, and I think John had something about that as well. But one of the things that they were said in this thing, and I'm going to scroll back here so I get it right. He showed him one of the pieces, and it's in quotes, one of the pieces. He said one of the pieces of metal with gold on it. We know now that they found a number of pieces that all had gold. He said one of the pieces that had gold on it. Did you catch that? I didn't catch that at first.
No, I didn't either.
And Linda brought that up. Linda and Jan were talking about it. I'm like, oh, what are you guys talking about? And then they explained it to me. And if you go back and listen to that segment, if you got it on the History Channel app, go back and listen to that again. And that's what he says.
Yep.
One of the pieces. And he was carrying it around in his pocket.
Oh, Rick was having a ball with that.
That was Rick's top pocket
Oh, yeah.
find. So think about that for a second, folks. One of the pieces. And that's why I was saying when Dale mentioned earlier, and he was talking about the fact that they hit it, they might have hit the edge of the chapel vault or something. It has to be near the chapel vault. And and I was speculating on that, but they found there was more than one piece.
I think when they pierced that vault and they pulled the drill down, and when they pulled it back out, it pulled up some pieces of metal or something that they're picking up.
Yep. I think
That's
you're
the only
right.
thing I
I think
think
it
of.
did. I think as it was coming back out, it ripped and tore some pieces or whatever.
Yeah, and they
And they brought
moved, the vault moved, but they got that piece. So they're probably like extremely close to that vault.
Yep. Yeah. Who said this here? That's Linda. Linda said this. That piece Marty is holding is tiny, much smaller than the one they showed. Yeah. Look at how small that is in his fingers.
I think they should make a trip to SMU and get that tested.
To where?
St. Mary's. We call it SMU, but St. Mary's
Mary's.
University up here in Halifax.
Oh, okay.
Bring it there and get that
Sorry.
tested.
Are you suggesting an ablation?
Yeah. I think that's what they should do with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what
That's what I'll
I
say.
think that might be what he's what Wayne
There
is
it is.
Yeah.
Craig mentioned something about that also.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So pretty cool. So I think they found more than one, and maybe could that be the one thing? Could that not the one thing that Rick talks about, but could that be the thing that has caused CCH to really step in on this? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, if they found something with gold on it and they found several pieces or more than one piece with gold on it, would that be the thing that caused CCH to get involved?
So you're saying they might be anticipating a bigger fine. So to cover their bases, they clamp down on what has to happen before digging occurs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Linda posted the cannon. She posted the firing of the noon gun in Halifax. She posted it on the Facebook side over
Nice.
there in the chat. I see it's got a little. Maybe we'll run that video when the show's over.
It's awesome.
All right. Well, they pick up Marty and they head over to the war room, and they go in there and the team gathers to take a look at the data that Craig has. There's everybody sitting there. You see Craig is the data man, of course, and he's got all of these samples of wood and everything over here they're sharing with the crew. And I'm going to read this real quick. The first item is from CD 2.5 at 91 and a half feet and was found last year. Craig reminds them that CD 2.5 is was only a few feet away from D2, and D2, is where they found those pieces of metal. The wood from CD 2.5 dates from 1488 to 1650.
Now that's a big deal, Jeff. That's
That
a
is
huge deal.
Huge deal.
Because
That is a huge
you're
deal.
talking post Templars, okay? But and whatever, wherever the Templar order went, and whether they fused in the Masonic operative Mason guilds or whatever, you're talking post Templars, but you're also talking age of exploration. You're
Right.
talking Rosicrucian period right here.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And Elizabeth's court. That's really what we're talking about. That now that could have been influence of the Templars. That's a whole other conversation. But you are commiserate with the Rosicrucian age of exploration period at this point.
Yep.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
Rick even said to himself, he's like, "Well, is it the Rosicrucians? Is it the Masons? Is it the Templars?
He did
Where?"
say that.
And he
Yeah.
said that.
He did
I was
say
like,
that.
okay, he gets it because it's where on the timeline, does this artifact or sample lay?
Mhm.
And that's perfectly with the age of exploration, and you have bacon mixed in there and
Yeah.
Rosicrucians and all sorts of symbology that's on the island, and so it's that commiserate line of thought that I constantly talk about. It's the same line of thought.
Yep.
Yep.
And that piece of wood, Craig tells the team that the wood from D2 also dated from the same time frame. So the wood that they found in D2, that was the wood from the CD 2.5 that they found last year. This year, D2, they found more wood. They hit it. Date is exactly the same, 1488 to 1650 with a 95.4% confidence rating.
But that
So we're
was,
talking the same shaft, really.
Yeah, exactly.
how do you get around at this point Rosicrucians or British, French, whoever coming to Oak Island, but it's right in that age of exploration. You can't get around that date at this point, Jeff.
Yeah, I
You,
know,
you, you just
that's
can't.
everybody keeps saying, "Oh my goodness, they found more wood." Even Marty has said it. I'm tired of finding wood. Yeah, okay, we understand that, but it tells a story. It tells a story. 1488 to 1650 A.D.
So
wood material. You see right here. Here's the report. I got it.
yes,
I zoomed in on it. It's July 30th in 2021. Um, I
and
mean,
you think about it though, Jeff. What organization could have been capable of digging this deep, making these, and that wood is kind of the smoking gun.
right,
What organization would have been around during then?
right.
Right? Yeah, some kind of post-Templar organization or reincarnation, a rebranded post-Templar organization,
Yep.
Operative Masonry, Rosicrucian. That's your choices.
Right.
You
And
know,
it's not going to be pirates or anything. They're not
it's
going
not,
to go through this
it's not
kind
going
of
to be
effort.
military. It's not going to be anything like that. It's going to be some symbolic meaning to the island in the Money Pit area.
Right.
You can't get around that date.
Right. I mean, you're talking 100 and what, about 170 years right there. Experience.
Okay, Jeff,
1488 to 1650.
let's just throw this into the mix. And you know this, the Enochian vaults, the 9 levels of the Money Pit. Okay,
Right.
Definitely commiserate of a belief system during the time of the Templars, and probably inherited by the Rosicrucians, who, in my opinion, are fanciful Masons.
Right.
So again, you have something that's commiserate to the Rosicrucian period. Now you have wood at the chapel vault, which has now been dated in the same period. You can't get around symbolically. You can't get around hard evidence like this around that time period and that age of exploration in the Elizabethan court. And then
Right.
you can start speculating, Bacon and other people like that. But you have hard evidence now that that is commensurate with some of the theories out there.
Right. Exactly. I tell you,
Jeff, I want to say when they were digging Solomon's Temple, there were like 9 levels before
Yeah.
they got going.
Correct.
Also.
The
Yep.
Enochian vaults.
Yep.
And
Correct.
at the 9th level, they found the Delta of God that
Right.
supposedly had God's name on it, the unspeakable, the name of God. And what do we find at the 90-foot level? We find the 90-foot stone. In theory, even though no one's ever seen it, that's the way the story goes.
Yep.
And that matches, even if it's ritualistically matching, it would match Freemasonry, Masonry, Templarism, Rosicrucianism.
Right.
It's just an exact match. And then when Rick said that, I said, okay, Rick he's just trying to figure out where in the line, it is, because he gets all these symbols are overlapping.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I mean, which
Correct.
one?
So who was there? When did it happen? And what keeps drawing people back to this island?
Right. Exactly.
Rick's familiar frame. Who, what, where, how, when.
You got it.
Who, what, where, why, and when. Exactly. And that's the thing of it too, is that, and I've said this 100 times. You guys have all heard me say it, that we'd love to have them find treasure. I'd love for them to pull up some kind of religious artifact, some kind of treasure. We are going to have Jeffrey Irving on the show, and Jeffrey Irving is one who believes that there's something very significant down there.
Yeah.
We've actually moved that to the 20th, and I wanted to bring that up real quick too, is that he was unable to, some things happened that we had to postpone his show from the 6th, which was last Saturday. We are going to be doing it on the 20th at 2:00 in the afternoon. That's Jeff Irving. He was on season 3, episode 9, and he was talking about Christopher Columbus, not necessarily him bringing treasure and digging the pit, but having something to do with treasure being on Oak Island. Very interesting story. And he also has the Oak Island Library that he's working on, which is really, really cool. John and I have a lot of stuff from the IDK we were working on, old stuff that we found about Oak Island literature and newspaper clippings and all kinds of stuff. So Jeff Irving, don't forget about him. He's going to be here on the show on the 20th. He's going to be sharing a little while with us anyway. We'll see how far that goes. But yeah, he knows about all that stuff too. And that's why I think it's going to be fun for you two, you and him, to kind of, it's going to be one of those shows where I'm just going to sit back and get an education.
I'm going to be in the chat just listening.
Yeah.
So
Yep. I'm just going to sit back and get an education.
we got a
So,
Saturday off. But go for it, guys.
But I'm gonna throw this out there too. And Alan Butler, I think in season 2, maybe episodes 5, 6, somewhere in there, the Trail of the Templars mentions the threshing floor, and that is commiserate of what they found. McGinnis Von Smith, in legend, found at the Money Pit site was a threshing floor.
Yep.
Now, in Christian Jewish tradition, it's either to cleave wheat or it indicates a relic or relics of high significance, high religious significance. So again, you see the symbolism there, and now you come up with a date of 1400 to 1650, a little after 1450 to 1650, somewhere in there.
Right.
Evidence points, in my mind, the evidence is quite clear.
Yeah. No, so it was yeah. I totally agree, and it's after the the initial Templars, because that, of course, 1307, when they kind of went about their separate ways. So if it's 14, even if it was on the low end of 1488, around 1500, that kind of puts them out of that picture a little bit. But offshoots of them, or down the road, I'm not the word
Freemasons. The
right.
gamut runs wild.
Rosicrucians.
Because your 1307, disbanded, not really disbanded, but captured, tortured, imprisoned at Dome,
forced them to change who they're naming,
and then rebranded as Hospitallers and the Knights of Malta. But you still have the Trial of the Templars, 1313, when it was officially disbanded,
right?
And many of them were killed and tortured for false confessions.
Yep.
Crimean documents in question. But it's out there. Whether it was made to shape opinion or there's something to it, unknown. But you have to rebrand at this point. The church is hunting you down, so you have to rebrand.
Right.
And I'm not talking about the church's version of the Templars. I'm talking about the Templars actually rebranding themselves, going underground. You leave no logs. You leave no traces yourselves.
Right.
Exactly.
And they even did that in France, because when Franklin went over, he had help from the Freemasons at that point, which were a variation of.
Correct. Yep.
Well, most people believe so anyway. Some people try to deny that, but that fact that the Freemasons had anything to do with the Templars. They just adopted their rule book or whatever.
They do claim heritage, Jeff. They do claim heritage.
I know.
And the other thing is, Jeff, if you have artifacts, this is a big if, you're going to put them out of the reach of the church.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you watched 10,000 of your brothers slaughtered.
You've got a grudge against the church.
Yeah.
Now.
You start taking those relics and putting them out of the reach of the church. You have Robert the Bruce in Scotland, who was excommunicated. So you start looking at places of refuge for what's left of the Templar organization.
Yeah, exactly. And if you've got a grudge now, there, and we could go on. I know this isn't an IDK now. We're not going to.
No. It has everything to do with the sample of wood.
Yeah. I know.
And the dates. I mean,
I know. And that's the thing, I was going to go off on the whole tangent about maybe the pirates, how the pirates, if you're mad at the Vatican, because what they did to you after you were working for them, initiated by them initially, and then all of a sudden you come over here, and then the skull and crossbones and all of that. Boy, we could go on forever talking about all that stuff and how they became the pirates, maybe of the West or the East Coast. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we won't get into all that tonight, but that's a whole nother big subject that we could definitely dive into.
Absolutely.
I tell you, I was going to say, some people are talking about, I heard a cat. Now they're talking about my cat. No, I don't. I don't see my cat in here.
That's my cat.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Dale's cat. All right.
It's my dogs are safe, so I'm safe tonight so far.
The Maritime Tartan Tabby. So,
that was good.
So yeah, was it? Jeff's cat is a Portuguese Templar gold hider. Yep. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. Well, there you go, folks. I tell you what, it was a good episode. I think and again, sometimes people will watch these things and go, they didn't find anything. They found some wood, big deal. They found some metal, big deal. I mean, come on, where's the treasure? These pieces, they all add up, and look how much we were able to talk about what they found on the show last night, what they showed us on the show last night, and where it could lead. Okay, does it make more questions? Sure, a lot of it does, but I think they're getting closer and closer and closer to an answer of the who, what, why, where, and when.
It's all pieces of a puzzle.
It is. It really
The
is.
story is incredible of what happened. I mean, that you can't beat the story.
Exactly.
And it just keeps adding each week. It's like a new book,
Absolutely.
which is the best part of this whole thing is the story. I absolutely love the story.
Yep.
If they find something, they find something. If they don't, the story's incredible.
The story's great.
Yep.
And don't forget, Jeff, I think on the episode also Doug and Peter went to Carmen Legg's farm and gave him the lot 17. Is that correct?
Over at Northville Farm with Carmen?
Yes. And was it? And he gave an estimated range for the piece of the wagon wheel cart, 1650, 1790. If you remember that,
right?
Yes. Yep.
You know that was in episode 1, but again we have that 1650 date sitting there, which is the tail end of the age of expiration. So, you know, episode 1 and episode 2 are nicely merging here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
definitely. And I agree with you, Houston, Texas, Dave. I agree with you. I do too.
Yeah.
You know, I always think that sometimes I pick the wrong profession, and I would love to be involved in archaeology. And remember, Aaron Taylor said that if you want to go join him down in Jamaica or wherever they were down there. What's that?
Down in Cuba.
Cuba, yeah. If you want to go down to Cuba, you can go with them. He was going to have spots for 2 more Americans to go down and join them in their archaeology down there. So there you go.
I think what's really cool is living here in Nova Scotia and seeing that all this stuff had happened. All these people came from all over the world.
Sure.
And something in my little province on a little island is just blowing me away.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, that, and you have that neat perspective of knowing about this long before we all did it becoming a TV show. You know, we've asked many people we've had on the show, Steve Guptill, the guys that live up there, Laird and all them that live where you do, and asked them, I said, did you know about this before the show? Did you ever hear about the treasure of Oak Island and the history and all that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we've heard about it in school. We heard about it years ago. But it's just really neat that all these people from all over the world came to this one little island.
Yeah.
And there's so much they're finding, like different people, and it's just a lot of people talk about it here in Nova Scotia.
Yep. I tell you what, I'm going to get up there now. I've got Dale, you and your wife Sherry. I've got
a lot of people around the world.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people around the world talk about Oak Island now.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
incredible.
Yep, it really is, and that's why I think that's why it's drawn the millions of viewers that it has, and all of us in our Facebook group and in this YouTube channel that we got going here, and people watching. We've had a great crowd tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming by and enjoying our evening with us. You guys make it so enjoyable each and every week to come out here and join us for this and talk about Oak Island and the show. Just a great time, and I'm seeing new names popping up. Even right now, I got Denise Madrid. I can see that name just popped up here. Hi, welcome. Ryan Kerr. New names popping up all over the place. I'm really so happy you guys joined us here tonight.
Awesome.
Come back. We do this every Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern time, right after the Curse of Oak Island episode in America, anyway, in the U.S. on Tuesday night. For you guys, I know that it is on Sunday nights over there. It's supposed to be on Sunday nights
at 11 o'clock.
at 11 o'clock. Now, we do have other ways that you guys can watch the show. If you join our Facebook group, which is the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond, you have to request to join. We do vet you. Linda and Jan are very, very good at what they do to make sure they keep all the scammers and stuff out the best they can. But join our group. We do have some information in there for you to be able to watch the Curse of Oak Island on Tuesday night, and the same as in the U.S. So if you join our group, you check that out. I can't explain it all here, but it is there in our Facebook group. If you want to be able to watch it on Tuesday night, that's where you can find more information about that. So check out our group, the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond Facebook group. Just Google or check that, and you'll get guided right to it. Wow, great night tonight. Thank you guys. Thank you, John and Jack and Dale, for hanging out with us. That was awesome. I appreciate you hanging out. And don't forget about the Maritime Tartan Company and the fundraiser that we've got going on. Again, there's more information about that in our Facebook group to help raising money for Christmas Daddies. The telethon is happening on December 4th. Giving away the hat Monday night at 7 o'clock right here on the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond live stream. We're drawing for the hat, the stole, what'd you call the
Shawl.
other? The
Shawl.
cape,
The shawl.
the tartan stuff, like the curtains hanging behind Gail right there.
Cool.
They're going to be giving that stuff. We're going to do drawings for that, and maybe something from
Maybe
the Mulligan
something
Anchor.
Anchor.
Oh, more swag.
Yeah, more swag for sure. So, but anyway, thanks folks for being here with us tonight. We really appreciate you, and we love having this time with you to join and talk about Oak Island. Everybody have a great rest of your week, and hopefully we will see you right here next Wednesday at 7:30, and then Jeff Irving on the 20th. Good night, everybody. Have a great week.